A couple of procedural questions for you. First of all, when you get ready for the lottery, you clearly have no control over it. So I'm wondering what the scouting process looks like for you as you try to maybe get a little cheat time ahead of the draft. How does that process work for you and the scouting team as you try to make a plan?
Well, first of all, we're the best scenario is we draft one. The worst scenario is we draft four. So we've had a lot of scouting that's gone on all over the world all season long, all year long for this. They just had a tournament over in Switzerland called the Under 18. So if you're one of those players over there, there was a lot of general managers and people in the scouting world that were there watching that, and that helps set your list. And the other thing about us, there's a chance we're going to draft either 21, 22, 23 as a second first rounder. So we've been able to, really scour the who we think are going to be first round players and who might be available at that time.
When you've in your past drafts, in your administrative history, when you've had an extremely high pick, a number one pick, even when you've had the opportunity to take in some cases, a generational player, can you help us understand the difference that makes in the franchise planning overall and how it changes the trajectory of things? Can you help us just understand how important that could be if that happened?
Yeah, I think that when you look at the Blue Jackets, our team, we need help at center ice. And this is a particular draft where, yes, there's a dimensional player at the top, but there's a lot of very, very good players. And a number of them are center icemen. So I would venture to say now that when we go through the draft in late June, we're going to have a center iceman join our team. And that's something that we really need. It's something we're very excited about. Now, whether it's number one, I don't know. It might be number two, three, or four. The luck will let us know that. But we're going to get a very good player. When you go through a draft that sometimes they're top heavy, one or two guys, and then the rest are not bad. This is one draft where a lot of people do talk about Bedard as a generational player, number one. But when you go through the next number of players, these are very exciting players and very good players. And again, as I said, a number of them are center icemen, which we need badly. So if we get one, we'll be off the charts excited. If we get something else, we're still going to be very, very excited.
I want to ask you about Bedard. I appreciate you just taking one hat off for a second and looking at this from like our perspective.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's a great player. You can just watch his highlights and see it. But from your perspective, from a talent development standpoint, can you just help us explain again? Who knows where he's going? But what makes him a generational player as opposed to just an incredibly high end first 10 talent? What separates him?
Well, every level he's been at, he's usually the youngest guy there, and he's the best player there. His plays with the puck are out of this world. I mean, when he goes to get the puck, he already has scanned everything. He knows where everybody is. Next thing you know, boom, the pass is made. So he's a playmaking forward, can play wing or specifically center, but he's also a shooter. And I've never seen him live, but I've watched him on tape a number of times. I've watched him live during games on television a number of times. He has a shot that is dimensional. I mean, it's a remarkable thing to watch him shoot the puck. It's a remarkable thing to see him cut through people with the puck, make plays, and be able to do it and be creative on the ice at the same time, whether it's carrying the puck, passing the puck, shooting the puck. There's just all these things. The it factor is there.
We did a story yesterday about attendance and how you all this season, the season was what it was, but at the end, you do the accounting, and you had a season where you had one of the most attended seasons in the history of the franchise.
Yeah.
The crew down the street are off to an incredible start with attendance. Do you get a sense of what is happening here? The entertainment town, like what's going on?
Well, I can speak about our club, and we had a tough year. I mean, that's just a fact. We were hoping to get the number one pick, but we also had a lot of circumstances involved, primarily the injuries. At one time, 15 guys out at the same time. That's just a remarkable number. But I think, and I credit the hockey fans here in Columbus are great fans. Our players talk about it a ton. When we won some of the games, I'd go down to the room after, and the players would come and say, "Did you believe that atmosphere tonight? That was out of this world. Wait till we get to be winning, a big time winning team. It's going to be remarkable." They're excited about it. The game presentation, when people come to our games, there's a lot of people within that work very hard to make sure people have a good time, a really good time. And I think that is something that people enjoy. It's a post-COVID world, and people want to have entertainment. They want to have enjoyment. And sports, to me, it seems to be one area where they can do this. Soccer with the crew. Soccer is a great game. I loved it. I played it as a kid. It's a great game. I understand the game, and there is some similarities to how the game's played with hockey. And to see them do well in this city, and Jerod, it's quite remarkable to have been here the number of years that I have, and to have people around our world, the hockey world, have really talked about the great city of Columbus, what it offers, quality of life, education. It goes on and on and on, and it's no longer a secret. It's people openly talking about it. I know that our club, we talk to agents all the time. We try to set up what we're going to do in the summer. We're getting calls say, we'll see what happens, but we sure like Columbus. It's a great place and it's word of mouth from players and wives and folks like that. So to see it, we call our fans the fifth line. It was a remarkable season for how they came out to support us through good and bad. And there was some bad, but they were there. And I just, we talk about it in our office when we go through meetings and coaching searches, etc. These people deserve something. They really do. So we're working our tails off to make that happen.
A big part of that is obviously your next administration, who comes in to coach, and how you go about making that process. Can you walk us through just your timeline, how you're going about evaluating candidates, and when you think you want to have something in place and moving forward?
Well, I think as far as that goes, sooner than later, but you want to also make sure you do your due diligence as you move through the process. We have a list who we think that we'd like to talk to and look at. It's already started. We also have a list where people are calling us, whether it's the coach's agent or the coach themselves. There's a lot of us that are here that know these people, so they call us directly. So we're going through that process. We know how important it is, especially with a young group like we have. We have to have somebody that's going to be able to nurture these guys to make us grow and play the game the right way. We had struggles last year. Our goals against were just terrible. We've got to get better. System wise, we have to get better. A lot of different avenues have to be addressed as we go through this process. But we're not in a rush. But if somebody pops, we'll make that decision and go with it and try to make a decision that's right for our franchise.
Let me ask you one more related to that. Brad did not have head coaching experience before that, but had been a coach in the league for many years and under the right tutelage. And, all coaches are different makes and models, right? So I'm wondering, how much does head coaching experience matter when you go to evaluate for this job? Is it just right person, or does that element become a separator?
It's a combination of a number of things. One thing about Brad Larson is he was a head coach in the American League for quite a number of years, so he had that. I think that whoever it is that does the presentation with us and we ask the questions, it's got to be a fit for us. There are some coaches out there that are better coaching veteran teams that are close to winning. There's other coaches that understand the development aspect and can get you into a position with how you play the game to make you win hockey games as you move along here, and your young players become the best players that they can possibly be as quick as possible. So you have to address all this different stuff. Whether they've had head coaching experience, yes. If some of them have had head coaching experience for a long time, they might be so set in their ways that they're not going to change. Other guys might come in and be very open-minded about what your roster is and what your game plan is, your timeline, etc., things along those lines. So it's a complicated puzzle. Once the next round ends, is another coach going to be available? Who knows? I doubt it now. But but it's interesting. We've had a lot of people contact us. We have our lists, and again, we're knee deep in the middle of this whole thing.
Quickie here. Who goes to the lottery for you all?
Well, we're going to be right here in the. We're going to have a setup in our locker room, and our management staff will be there. It used to be up in Toronto,
Right.
and say hypothetically Anaheim, who missed the playoffs, and they were going to say they were 13th, so they go up there all the way to Toronto,
right,
sit there for hours. The lottery thing happens, and their card comes up first. You go to the airport, get on a plane, fly all the way back to California. So it was kind of aggravating. And I think now that they do it this way with a setup in the locker room or wherever you want in your building, and you have your people in there, and you can Zoom it or whatever it is, it just works. And we'll see a lot of people walk in with whatever good luck charms they like to carry with them.
I was just going to ask that. Is there anything?
Yeah, but I can't say. I won't say. But
All
it
right.
has been pretty good to me over the years.